Pastor Sono has been working tirelessly for almost 30 years to build a church that not only has a passion for God, but also a passion to help others. Take a look. In the heart of one of South Africa's biggest townships is a church that is on fire for God. Grace Bible Church is a rapidly growing house of worship with over 15,000 members and 11 satellite churches. Today, its senior pastor, Mosa Sono, shares with us his passion for training young people to be the future leaders of Africa. Pastor Sono, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Well, in the past, Africa has been known as the dark continent, where other people from other countries would come in to share the gospel. But now God is doing something new, especially among the youth. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I think the youth now are in an environment that is so different to their parents, in that at least opportunities seem to be much more there. They've had opportunity, many of them at least, to go to school, to learn. They've grown up in an environment wherein it was different in terms of them being an oppressed people. They grew up as a people who are free in terms of their thinking and in them asserting themselves. And the great thing as well is that, Africa has come a long way in terms of the church growth that we see, where it has become an example of what God can do, the church growth that's there, the move of the Spirit of God and so on. And when you find young people who have a combination of them being great academic people and great spiritual people, that kind of balance produces a kind of young person who is so balanced in what they can do.
Now, for other countries, they're struggling actually to get the youth involved in church and things of God. So what is it about specifically your church that draws so many young people?
Certainly, like you mentioned, there's a definite move of God on the African continent. And the prophecy of Joel, when God said, your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, there's certainly a move of God. But however, what we also do as a church is to structure how we do church to be youth-friendly, if I can say that, in terms of the style of music we use, the approach, the presentation of the gospel. If you give young people the opportunity to be involved in church itself, they are there as the ones leading the music, the ones who are doing the ushering, the counseling. They are involved, because the thing about young people, they don't want to sit and be spectators, And then you have programming that is very, very youth friendly, where you learn to deal with issues that are contextual. I remember when I was young, when I went to church, there wasn't much that was said from the church platform that addressed my issues as a young person. And so we address issues that have to do with young people from a biblical perspective, so that they also understand that God is concerned about them. And then the other thing is, we've got many young people who are very good and exceptional leaders. We put them in leadership. They preach, they teach, they lead things, and so on. When you do that, and then the young people realize that it means this environment is welcoming to us. Our church, we like 70% young people, very involved, and exceptional leaders. And I think it's time for God is really using the youth on the African continent.
Now, speaking of leadership, there's so many issues in Africa, for the young person who's like, I want to make a change, specifically in South Africa with reconciliation and just integrity and leadership. What can they do to really practicalize what they're learning in church and take it out to the community?
I always say to the young people that the first place to start is to start practicing your leadership somewhere. In the church context, I say, get involved in church. Get involved, because your leadership skill grows when you lead. You have to lead something, and we teach in our church that the call of God on our lives is in 7 worlds, we call them, and these 7 worlds, religion is number 1, but you also have the world of politics, business, arts and culture, family, and all those worlds. And we teach the young people that every one of you is called by God into one of those areas. And if you're called by God in that area, pursue leadership in that area. You know, go to school in line with what you believe you're called for. I mean, if you're in the arts, go to school in line with the arts and learn and have the skill. And then get involved in that dimension. And then we say, remember, when you are there as a man and a woman on a mission. That even if you are in the arts, you are there to make sure God's kingdom gets established in that particular area. And you find when you say that, the young people just take that on, because then they understand, I'm here for a reason. I'm a person who's here for a purpose. And the reason God has gifted me and made me who I am is for me to fulfill a particular function. And that way their life becomes a purpose-driven life. They don't just hang around in life. They have a direction. They know where they're going. They're very focused. And over the long haul, you see they turn out to be amazing leaders in the community.